How's it going, everyone? It's GadgetsBoy. Welcome to another video. In this one, we're going to be taking a look at the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4 or Z Flip 4, depending on where you're watching this from. Americans, you know who you are. And yes, I've been using it from day one. So this has been out for over 2 months or so. So I've been using it from then up until now, just to get a feel for what this is going to be like in terms of performance, longevity, durability, and even if the battery will stand the test of time over time, if it's going to start dipping after a while. So, and it's safe to say, so far so good. This is standing the test of time and it's doing really well. It's one of my favorite flip devices out. In fact, this loan device from Samsung, when they offered to give me a loan device, I had to choose between the Fold and this one, and I went for this one because this seemed more exciting for me, a lot more fun than the Fold did. So without further ado, let's get into it and let's talk about the things that I really like over time that I've been using it, and the things that I sort of didn't almost like. I can brush them under the carpet, but I will still talk about those things that I didn't like about it. Let's get into it. Okay, let's start with the design. Obviously, this is a clamshell design, meaning you just close it open and it becomes a compact device that just fits nicely in your pocket, so you can take this anywhere you want to without taking much space. Although it does add a bit of bulk onto the side profile, because you are now getting two displays folded together to give you this clamshell design. And one thing I also love about Samsung Flip devices is the fact that you get this nice cool accessories that's available for it from the Samsung website. This nice tab looking design, which I really like. It means you can hook it up onto your belt, you can hook it onto your bag, whatever you want to do, you can hook it up onto there. When I posted this on TikTok, people really loved it, and I love this colorway as well with the flip written on it. But the only problem though is people kept saying, can you use this to open up the flip in terms of using it for the top bit? It's very difficult because the hinge is kind of fully folded and it's also quite stiff. So if you try to pull it like so, it's very difficult to do, so it's not a pleasant experience, so I wouldn't use it for that. Although you can stick your finger in here in the middle bit, and also just makes it easy to flip open like so. And or you can just do this if you want to, you can pull it as well, and that would also flip it open. But generally, if you really want to flip it open, I'll just do it the normal way and just, you know, open it like so, and sorted, nice and easy. But it's very stiff, it's not that smooth, but there's a reason for that, which we'll talk about as well, because it allows you to place the device in different positions for different reasons. So whether you taking photos or you want to use it as two displays, you can do that using that stiff sort of hinge, which is nice and durable. Again, I really like that about the Flip 4. Next, the display is really vibrant. It's got a lovely display. This is a 6.7 inch Full HD Super AMOLED display on the inside with up to 770 nits of peak brightness. So this is very bright, it's vibrant. You can change whether you want from vivid or to natural, depending on what you want, because Samsung, as always, they love a vibrant display, very saturated. But if that's not something you want, you can go into screen mode settings and flip that to natural, so things looks less vibrant and colorful and so on. But you can also change the white balance if you want this on the cooler tone or on the warmer side of things. You can change that as well, which is helpful. It's really nice to have that settings there. Talk about the display. The outside of the display, which we have here, is a 1.9 inch Super AMOLED display as well, which also has its own function. So for example, we can swipe across for different things that you can change in settings. So you can have your calendar, you can even have steps counter, record audio, timer, your calendar, quick contact and stuff like that. And you can change the wallpaper, so that way you can change what it looks like, so it looks probably better than just bland, that kind of stuff. But this will attract a lot of fingerprints as a result, so you kind of have to keep wiping that off if that really is if that's really going to bother you. You have to keep wiping that across. This has Face ID unlock and fingerprint unlock on the side as well, which is integrated into the power button. But back to that display, we have motion smoothness, which means you can choose between 120 Hz and 60 Hz refresh rate. So 120 Hz if you want that sweet smooth motion, especially when gaming, or if you want to save battery consumption, you might want to step it down to 60 Hz. I believe this uses LTPO2, which means this will go all the way down to 1 Hz when it needs to, and go back up to 120 Hz when it also needs to. So the options there in display settings, so you can modify those things. Talking about the outer display, there's a cover screen, which is actually called cover screen rather than outer display. You can change things like the clock style, so you've got loads of options there. You can customize it, change the colors and background as well if you want something that's more graphical, so you can have a background there. You can change the widgets, so you can rearrange them, you can reorder it, you can select options there. So there's not many options available there, just a few things like music, weather and so on that Samsung's have preloaded on there. So you might want to change that, but you won't be able to change it to something that you might actually want, so you have to go with what Samsung's selected there and made available. Next thing I really like is the performance of the Flip 4. I think this is flagship standard level of performance. This is running on the latest Snapdragon processor, so you're looking at the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1. It's got 8 GB of RAM, and you can get up to 512 GB of internal storage. Although to get that big storage, you'd have to get it online directly from Samsung. The battery life is also surprisingly good on the Flip 4. So you're looking at 3,700 mAh battery, and that will last you the whole day. And this supports 25 watts fast charge and 5 watts wireless charging. The wireless charging I'm not a big fan of because it's quite slow. It's only 5 watts, and also, before I go further, having a case on it like this with this strap on it and stuff makes it awkward to charge it wirelessly. But otherwise, you can charge it faster, just plugging it in and you're good to go. As far as media consumption goes as well, I think this is a great device for doing that, because you can watch your videos like this on YouTube, for example, in 4K, and you can zoom in and out to suit your preference. So if you're watching football on BT Sports in the UK, for example, you'll be able to zoom in and out if you prefer to do so. Sound quality is also pretty good, although it sounds a bit teeny tiny, but it's still there if you really need to use it. But I would advise getting yourself a Samsung Galaxy Bud or any other earbuds out there, or overhead headphone, and plug it in, connect it together via Bluetooth, and actually enjoy your sound through that instead of using the speaker that's built into here. But as far as visual goes, I think it looks really good. Color accuracy looks great to me because I color graded this video, so I know that this is actually how it's meant to be and what it's meant to look like, even on my big display. In comparison, I think it looks really good. Besides the size reduction when it comes to flipping the phone and the clamshell design and the fancy fold mechanism, there's actually a functionality to it as well. So for example, if you fold it completely in half, you'd be able to use the two displays separately. So if we were to swipe across from the edge, we can have YouTube playing at the bottom area, and let's do not now for that. And then up top, we can split it with another app. So maybe we go, I don't know, let's do gallery. So that will show gallery up top, so I can scroll through my photos that I've taken already. And at the bottom there, I can carry on playing my YouTube video, which I think is pretty good. And that's thanks to that processing power and the RAM that's in there as well, because that way you can run multiple applications at the same time without having to worry about any hiccups or anything like that. So you can even go full screen on the bottom display there if we get rid of the media player, and still have a decent amount of screen real estate at the top there, which is pretty cool. On a small screen, I think that's pretty smart. Another great use for that flip screen and being able to fold it is being able to take photos on that screen using that as a selfie. So if you're a selfie taker, this would be really good for you. So if we go to camera, for example, the top half can be used to see the screen, the bottom half can be used for your controls. So as you can see there, you can just tap photo away, snap to snap away. But what's also great is if you then combine this with the outer display, the cover display, you can turn that on, which shows you the cover display, and then we'll turn that around. I can see myself on the cover display, and that will show me what picture I'm about to take. And if you use hand gestures and stuff, I can take that photo like so, and that's taking a photo of me, and then I can share that on social media or do whatever I want to do with that picture, which pretty cool, pretty smart. And that works in video as well. So in video mode, you can do the same. It just means if you're taking group photos, you can basically place the device really far away from you, and use the ultra wide angle camera, 12 megapixel. You can use that as a camera to take a group shot and take wider photo without having to do that selfie hand or anything. You can do gestures, stand far away from the camera and take photos, which is pretty cool. I think it's a really good functional way to utilize that outer display as well as the camera in general. Whilst we're still on that cover display, you can also take photos directly on there by double tapping the power button. Activates the camera. You can see there, I can start taking photo with it. I can swipe across for video, swipe across again for photos, and portrait mode on there as well. So everything is placed on the outer display. So cover display, I keep calling it outer display, but you can use that side as well for taking photos on the go. Again, making it very functional. Although it's quite small, but it just means that you can quickly take photos without having to flip the whole thing open and take photos with your friends. And if you do decide, actually, I want to take photos on the big display, you just flip it open and it kind of continues from where you left off, and the big display is on there and you can carry on. Moving on to camera, we have a dual camera setup, both 12 megapixel. One is f1.8 and the ultra wide angle is f2.2, and you get a 10 megapixel front facing camera, which is f2.4. That main camera is made brighter compared to the previous edition, so meaning you get brighter images, especially when taking night photos. So far so good on cameras in terms of photos that have been taken on here. So what I do notice is, let me just come out of here, unlock the device. What I do notice is when the lighting condition is very good, you have no issues at all with photos taken. Photos look really good. But when it comes to night photography, that's when you start to notice those over sharpening happening on the photo. So for example, these images here, if we start to look towards the green and the traffic lights, you start to lose quality and everything's been over sharpened and it doesn't look that good. And that's the same again with videos. When shooting video in normal lighting condition, there's loads of over sharpening happening. So if you look at this video playing on the screen right now, we look at the tree, the bushes on the side, they're just over sharpened. They look quite grainy. That's how bad that looks. But in general, for a general average user, if you're going to be sharing on social media and all that kind of stuff, I think you'll be fine. There's no problem there at all. But for me, if I'm going to get really nitpicky, that's where I'd complain a little bit. One thing I do love in video mode though is how quickly this can shift focus. So whilst you're filming something, if you just tap to focus on different areas, the focus on it is so quick, and that's very good. Portrait mode, very good as well. Skin tone looks great, and if you go on the edges, it's got good edge detection in most cases, especially when the lighting condition is really good, both at normal focal length and when you go ultra wide, it does really well on that selfie portrait mode. Using the main camera as well, it looks really good. You can't change focal length and that, so it's what you get, it's what you see, is what you get. But it does very well in blurring out the background, and also you can change the background effect and just modify it a little bit to suit your preference. But out of the box, it looks really good. Where this doesn't really excel is when you start to zoom into things. I think zoom photography on there is just a no-go. The quality on there is just awful. I wouldn't use this for zooming at all, but for normal photography, day-to-day and videos and stuff like that, I think it works really well, and I love that you can use the outer display to take photos as well and stuff like that. So all in all, I think I really like the Z Flip 4. If I was to get a new foldable device that's clamshell, that's, you know, gonna save space and stuff like that, I'll definitely go for the Z Flip 4. And it comes in different colors as well. So if you're someone who likes something that's a bit more colorful or anything like that, you can pick different colors, and you can even configure some color configurations if you go on the Samsung website as well, which is pretty cool. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Is this something that you would get? Is it worth the price tag? Let us know in the comments below. I believe this is just around £1,000 to buy. I don't know what the inflation rates are doing these days, but yeah, let us know in the comments below. If you have any questions, drop them there as well. But if this is your first time around here, please do subscribe, smash the bell notification so you get notified every time there's a video up on the channel, and like it as well. Hit that like button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.